Hello and welcome, brave souls. I am your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. We are back once again with Star Trek Adventures Aegis. We are just about to get started for the first time in a little while with our adventure. We are on part 3 of our current episode, I believe episode 4 of the season, by Guile or by Might. So before we get started, just a few programming notes for those of you catching this in the archive. So if you had been watching live and waiting for a little while, I'm sorry we were away, but the GM had a few things to tend to here, and now we are back. If all goes well, hopefully sticking around on a regular basis, so we hope you come back and enjoy these every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, adapt for your local time zones, which there's plenty our players have to do. Um, Besides that, we are... you can always keep up on all that with our other options, our social media, joining the Discord, anything like that. So check that out. For those in the archive, again, that's all in the description of the video. Our Broken Sword campaign is also live now. For those of you watching this now, this episode will probably go live either the day before or the day of that game, and we'll be doing a special one for our episode 6, where our own Joe the Overland Gamer, Azek Korg in the Broken Sword game, will be hosting the that as GM. So I'm going to momentarily step down from my position, and there will be some pretty fun stuff. But for those that can, we hope you join us 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And once we do get past that, I think that we'll be looking ahead to our schedule at some point and placing the planning for a Broken Sword mid-season Q&A. So I hope that you also start thinking about that if that's a game you're following. Or if you're curious about it, then yeah, by all means, feel free to come in with questions about that. With all that said, let's get into the campaign, because it has been a minute since last we were all here. When last we left off, Aegis has found itself in a difficult position, as it is separated from a landing party. It had arrived in this asteroid field, with a nice promotional screen there, because I shifted it to the wrong one. It had arrived in this asteroid field just outside of it, where it had detected some valuable materials, supplies that were easy enough to extract and could be used to help augment its many years long expedition that it is seeking to go out on. The captain authorized Lieutenant Commander Shira to take a landing party consisting of the ship's science officer, Lieutenant Melnyuk, one of the ship's physicians, Dr. Xantar, as well as some of the supporting and non-player characters, Chief Fernier, the quartermaster, Specialist Layton from one of the engineering teams, and I think that was Chief Justice, who has been a long-time pilot and more recently performing more helm activities. Unfortunately, this asteroid den with the strategic metals and an unusual radioactive anomaly has created the perfect conditions to hide a pirate's den. The ambush occurred, put the shuttle pod in grave risk if it tried to race back to the Aegis, so after being cornered by various Nausicaan ships, the shuttle pod headed back towards the cavern in order to escape the possibility of an attack. It is within that cavern that Lieutenant Commander Shira and the crew with the shuttle pod made their stand and have very effectively dispatched a good number of their pirate foes with very lethal effect. So, as such, you are secure for now, and that assault has worn out. But it still creates a dilemma for you and for the crew aboard the Aegis, who are presently outside the asteroid field, but are moving into a position where they can advance to save you. Unfortunately, what that is going to mean here, as we look at the broader tactical display, the only suitable way for Aegis to advance, or indeed any vessel of its scale. Let me adjust the map here for the audience at home. Okay, that's a little too much, so we'll just move it over like this. Alright. The only way for the Aegis to advance is to proceed through a relatively narrow corridor that is just suitable enough for a scale 3 vessel to advance, but would inhibit maneuvering. Furthermore, you know that there's a bit of debris and Nausicaan vessels that are in that position, that are in positions around there after being warned by the shuttle pod. Only after making it through that possible gauntlet will the Aegis be in a position to save its beleaguered comrades. And it is to that effort, I think, that we should start off the session, finding ourselves on the bridge. Let me move the sets. Which I need to fix slightly anyway. I'll make this an aside as the sets are getting set up, but there is one other bit of news we had from the past weekend. We actually did debut a new series, now live on the channel, Star Trek Adventures: The Lost Scenes, something that covers scenes that didn't fit into earlier sessions of the campaign. We have actually one that was live for Star Trek Adventures Aegis, specifically something just set after earlier in this season, so I'd encourage you to check that out when you get the chance. But let's see, I have that fixed now. So we are back on the bridge of the Aegis. Captain, the helm has moved you into is maneuvering around the field, approaching the narrow corridor in the asteroid field that will allow you to advance. You are like other departments are setting about preparations for what is to come, but there's a lot of uncertainty going into this. It is you with many junior officers, with Aleska Romanov down in the engineering section, and with an older steady hand known to most publicly as a diplomatic official, but to you as the intelligence minder and somebody invaluable in other rights, one Marcus Horn at your side. So, yeah, let's pull in here with the start of this.
I actually have a few things that hopefully ease the minds of my junior officers.
Okay.
I will instruct them, saying we don't need to focus on their maneuverability, just on where they're going to go. Mr. Hector, find the nearest likely asteroids that MOSUM would likely pass through, target them, in addition to treating any obvious pass as secondary. That way we have more slower targets for you, as opposed to having to shoot at very finicky quail, she says.
Yes, Captain, acquiring targets.
And then, helm, just keep it slow and steady. We just need a nice, even path. Crichton, I forgot names. Crichton, Horn, if you can keep tabs onto the communications to make sure that one signal in particular or any other signals can denote of our crew or any other communication that we can probably break through. I also want to make sure, Crichton, if you can, to break through any ECM that they are setting up at the current moment.
I'll do my best, sir.
I'm sure we get everything.
Quarter impulse helm. Nice and easy.
At the helm, the officer in position begins easing the ship at 1/4 impulse. I will say it's a low enough sort of standard approach that I won't ask for a use of power right now. While as this is going, first I'll ask Horn, Sharp, would either of you want to exchange any words going into the situation?
She'll just look over to Horn. If you see any more of those communiques, let me know. But keep a close eye on it. And make sure we don't accidentally target a escape pod by accident. Horn? Do we lose Horn? Horn, no!
You there, Felix? I need to peek at...
He typed in the chat that he's AFK for a moment.
Oh, okay. Well then I'll let him know.
Yeah. Well,
Horn's just concentrating really hard right now.
Question. Would it be better for me to be on the bridge or down in engineering?
I would leave that to your choice. I was about to flit down to engineering so that we could check in with characters there.
Okay, so then she's meeting with her staff and deploying, just based on her intimate knowledge of this ship, the damage control teams. And then I put, I will put environmental control. That's my boy. He's our environmental guy. He's in charge of that. And then whoever my number 2 is will run the engineering bay. And I'll let them know I'll be up on the bridge, and I will be targeting keeping the polarized hull intact.
I think Leighton is actually on the away mission. He was the...
Yeah, Leighton's on the away mission.
Damn! My boy!
Your boy's on the away mission.
Oh.
Whoever is his apprentice is stepping up, because one of the things that happens in Starship Combat is that atmosphere...
He doesn't have an apprentice. He's just a guy.
Damn.
He's just a dwarf.
Yep.
Damn.
I
put that on my to-do list.
Yep. As you bark around, yep. You get orders to your other to the other officers. You are a little, or you are only very slightly understaffed on this shift, although others are coming to battle stations,
Right.
action stations, that is.
Right.
At this point, one of the more valuable people would be one of the Andorians that came aboard the ship a little while back, one Ensign Tally Shakaris, who comes around from a console, and I'll ask, does anybody want Tally as a supporting character? I know in particular some people...
Hey, Cheesy. Play your twin.
Oh, God. Okay, I got this.
Fair enough. All
Cheesy,
right.
you like cheese, right? You like cheese, right? With a name like Cheesy, right?
Oh boy, am I gonna blow your mind. I don't
You
like
make
cheese.
What was that?
I don't like cheese.
You don't like cheese? Okay.
He's the anti-Porthos.
That is, yeah. With a name like Cheesy, it is grinding my neurons.
Yeah.
You
To
shocked me.
be fair, it was based off an earlier Discord name that, although that has changed, it is that stuck for purposes of like the identifier or the chosen names here on the for the Discord.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for the cast list. Anyway, I will ask there, Cheesy. I'll remind you, you do have an activation which you can give Tally. I think that right now you could take a focus. You could improve a discipline by 1 point. You would have a talent or value as well.
I don't have access to the sheet yet.
I will fix that. And if nothing comes to you right now, then we can always open that up later. just note. I owe you 1 activation for Tally. Alright, so yep, Tally, you have been busy as the ship has gone to action stations, making sure that the power grid is stable and that power can be effectively rendered to the phase cannons, a specialty in weapons as you have them. Yeah, Romanov is shouting out other orders, seemingly on a... you're saying... well, what were you going to pass along to the ensign here?
What's this guy good at? Or is he just new and he needs some, this is his first experience with battle?
So, in Tally's case, would you care if I dispense with a little biographical background there, Cheesy?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll say that you read the report, so you know she's actually also former Imperial Guard, I think was what we had settled on.
Yes.
And that her ship, along with her twin Tavashi, it had been downed early in the war. They had been surviving on a very limited crew, but they were rescued by a Starfleet vessel. And afterwards, because Starfleet has a much freer hand right now in terms of commissioning people from other services, with the war coming to an end, they decided, a few opportunities as the Guard would present while it's rebuilding, they opted to join Starfleet. So she is an engineer with a great deal of specialty in maintenance of tactical and energy systems.
Energy systems. Okay. Can I have her down here assisting me with hull polarization, meaning she's my right hand down in engineering?
You could definitely have her do that sort of thing.
Okay, I'll walk over to her. I got a special job. You're going to coordinate with me. We're going to keep everybody else is going to be on damage control, but we're going to keep the hull polarized. I'm going to have you on this station. You already know how it works, but I'll be coordinating directly with you from the bridge.
I won't let you down.
I don't believe you will. I'll give her a pat on the shoulder and just look at everybody and go, look, we'll be through this. Battle is fast, and hey, it's movie night tonight. So just keep your eye on the game and your immediate job, and watch out for your neighbors. Okay? Good luck.
Yep.
And I'll head on up to the bridge.
Yep. Romanov passes out of that. The engineer's looking like, movie night? Before just setting...
We have movie night pretty regularly, so,
Yep.
getting their minds off the battle that there's something positive happening tonight.
Gotcha. All right. So let's see. While Romanov makes her way up to the bridge, I think we could afford one more sort of... we could afford another couple of looks around to other places. So we could have one check-in with the shuttle pod crew if we'd like. Cheesy, if you want to do it, we could check in with the raider now. I would leave it all, who's interested in what.
I'm happy to do the shuttle pod check-in.
All right, well, we'll take a quick look over there. And I think that it'd be good to have a brief little conversation there with the shuttle pod eventually being cut off from communications there. But not that scene. We want the...
No, we're not there.
Yeah, no, anywhere but there.
No, Justice, take us back into the cave.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to poke us out of there. There we go.
Hey,
This place is better.
yeah, just past all the body parts.
Yep.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Welcome back.
All good, all good. Let's see. So, back on the shuttle pod, Justice is trying to get a hold of the crew. You're just barely getting smidgens of Crichton here and there. As he struggles with that, those of you near enough a window, well, you can't see that much. The occasional floating bit of Nausicaan debris at this point. And most of the illumination being provided by the now floating entities that are about, the cosmozoa that appear to have emerged from the tunnels and have now begun embracing the weightlessness of the cavern to enter the area. They glow with they provide a bioluminescent glow from the sort of main body. They in some ways resemble an octopus, though they have no discernible eyes on the head-like main body structure. And although there is seemingly no medium for them to move, their tentacles still contract and extend in different ways, allowing them to move in three-dimensional space, although the logic is not something that you might have immediately parsed out. But they are part of the reason your communications are so difficult right now, because they are generating some sort of ambient field that creates interference. So that's about where you are. Everybody's in an EV suit. Everybody is decently, they were armed in case of some sort of struggle were to take place. And, yeah, it's just that. How is everybody doing, for those that want to mention what their character's up to? We've got Xantar, Shira, Panda, if you want to note anything for Leighton.
Leighton's just now trying to repair some of the stuff of the damage he made and just re-rig the jury rig.
Gotcha.
Un and re-rig. There we go.
Xantar's just keeping an eye on the crew, anybody who might have been hurt, just checking up on them, and also checking the condition of any of the pirates. Are we calling them pirates? Mercenaries? Hostiles. Any of the hostiles, to see if any of them are...
Pieces.
Yes.
I think the condition is dispersed.
I think that one's alive. Wait, no, that was just a head.
No. That's just an arm twitching. That's a natural response to being almost completely vaporized. But yeah, mostly just checking on the condition of the crew and staying out of trouble if you can help it.
Can I ask, did all the pirates kind of like enter along the floor of the cavern, as it were?
Yes, they did advance along what you would consider to be a surface.
Justice, could you take us up to the roof of the cavern? Just want to change our position just in case they decide just to start lobbing explosives to where they think we are.
I'll give us a nudge here, Commander. Justice instinctively, for a moment, reaches a hand toward his face, but realizes the visor's there and just sets back to the controls with a slight shake of the head. You get the sense he wants to push his glasses a little up his the ridge of his nose.
Has he got his glasses on inside his helmet?
He does.
Okay, good.
Yep. So the shuttle pod rises, and he'll actually flip the pod to where now the floor would appear as if it were the ceiling relative to your orientation.
Excellent. That gives us a very good view. Good work, Justice. Melnick, if you want to run some scans on the glowy creatures out there, feel free.
Suppose it can't hurt, she says, immediately regretting those words as, stumbling through with the EV suit. She's trying to look through the shuttle pod sensors as well. So I'll let her conduct a reason plus science roll. Let's see. Sensor operations counts as a focus that she can use, and let's see here. I don't think that there's an applicable talent yet. So I'll roll 2 successes. If somebody would care to roll for a shuttle pod here,
I'll do that.
that would be reason plus science.
Nope.
Yeah, no luck there. So let's see. Well, I'm having trouble getting much more on these life forms. I can't say that I've seen anything quite like them. Yeah, I haven't seen anything quite like them before, Commander, or even heard that much in the lab. There's few documented cases of strange encounters from various other ships, a good bit of Vulcan Science Academy and High Command archives. I think that there might have been a mention or two in earlier records from the Enterprise mission. That was something more that grew inside the ship. I've never seen anything resembling this. I can't say for sure, but I feel like these are... I don't know. It's possible that these could be something smaller, or that there's room for, I don't know. There's something about the active chemical processes that I'm detecting, or like the biochemical processes, that might suggest that some sort of growth in process, but honestly, I'd want to take this back to a lab. Love to take one of them to a lab if it were possible.
Let's not push it. They seem to be docile at the minute, so I'm not in the mood for making anything else our enemy.
Fair call.
But you can study their behavior after all.
If you don't mind, I'll keep this scanning program recorded and see what we can grab from it.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright. So she'll input a few buttons and reaching over your shoulder. There, that'll set up a secondary program, gather some passive information here.
Excellent. See, you're getting all these wonderful new data which no one else has ever been able to record before. Isn't that great?
Oh, yeah. In a dark rock in the vacuum of space, surrounded by dead bodies and strange alien creatures that the nature of which we haven't fully established. Living the dream, she says, easing back to her chair.
If you didn't sign up to Starfleet for this, what on earth did you sign up for?
I signed up for laboratory work and possibly a deep space lab assignment at UESPA, but then all the obsession with defensive changes has meant funding cuts and put me out on a cruiser stuck in a combat situation. She'll shake her head a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
cruiser, sure. What you wanted deep? You wanted deep space. It doesn't get much deeper.
She'll kind of shake her head and just sit back. Yeah, I suppose not.
Anyway, just think about all the wonderful new scientific reports you get to file.
As you say this, one of the Nausicaan's intact helmets bounces against the cockpit window.
It's going to leave a stain.
I knew we should have installed wipers on this, Fernia said.
Well, run it by Romanoff when we get back to the Aegis.
He'll make a note of it. With that, I think that a little bit of light but very slightly anxious music plays off for as you try to belie the situation with some levity. There is nonetheless great risk of what is to come, and particularly what is happening out there. Speaking of, we pan out from the cavern to the asteroid field where Nausicaan ships are beginning to rally in various locations. Aboard one of them, we get a glance on the bridge. As Remora, you have been bouncing between consoles, a bit with the help of an uneasy Kesh. From your position, you have been performing whatever deeds you deem appropriate here. But as this goes on, Kesh says, "New word from the word from Famous. We are to rendezvous with the other ships. There are already 3 entering position, and more may yet be able to join the fray here." Good. These impertinent Earthers think that they can boss us around. We'll show them what happens when you dare have the Garumba to trespass on our territory. With Captain Oregon's bluster, he looks over to Mora. Get back to the helm and get us into position.
You got it, sir. Does he look forward?
The Nausicaan, or
Yeah, the captain. After he relays that to me, does he look back forward?
I will say yes. He looks back to the forward viewer and is glancing between Rocco and Kesh.
Okay. I don't know if Kesh is looking at me, but I give him a very enthusiastic thumbs up, and I make sure I'm saying it correctly. And I pull out my disruptor pistol and I shoot the captain.
Okay.
I bloody knew it.
That would be control plus security. Would this be a... would you be shooting with lethal intent? Let me ask first.
The first shot, yes.
Okay. I will...
He turns around and screams, "Curse you and your sudden and inevitable betrayal."
All right, that is a control plus security roll there, Cheesy.
Would I get my subterfuge focus to this, perhaps?
I think that applies.
Just the rest of the crew have like the surprised like Kirk face from the animated series. Just, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, that is 1 success, so that is not enough to hit on its own. You do still have your determination, so you could invoke that to re-roll the d20 if you so wished, or if there's an applicable talent, then you could apply that.
Could he use momentum to reroll? Because we'd be happy to give him momentum to reroll.
I don't think momentum would allow him to do that, although, well, what he could do is he could use momentum to purchase a swift task, which allows him to attempt another task. If he does that, the difficulty increases by 1.
But I
Okay.
have the fire at will talent.
Oh, read the description there and remind me what that does.
The character is capable of tracking multiple targets and making attack against them with great effect. Whenever a character makes a ranged weapon attack and then uses the swift task momentum to spend to make a second ranged attack, they ignore the normal difficulty increase from swift task.
Okay, so you could actually, you could purchase another attack, and then or you could basically. I'm double checking here just to make sure. Swift task would be 2 points of momentum. So Shira, if you're willing to drop 2 points there, then
Okie dokie.
Remora could attack again if that's what you wish.
I recommend taking the minor action aim. That'll give you a reroll of a dice.
You can also use your value right now and
Put it all in.
put it all in. Make it 2 automatic successes.
Yeah, this is the moment.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to use survival above all else, or resistance is never futile.
Suspicious way of wording that.
Well, it's 2 of them, whichever one applies.
Hey, Peter, Felix, don't think about the Borg.
No, shut up. Shut up.
Just don't do it. There's nothing to think about there. Okay. So, with let's resolve some narrative stuff here. So, Remora, removing the disruptor from your belt carefully, using the captain's distracted state and your own ability to like your jacket basically to conceal it, you manage to get the you kind of basically fire from the hip at first, the blast whizzing over and in front of Captain Argan, who suddenly goes wide-eyed and I dare say even flinches a moment, as that first blow, if it had hit, would have likely gotten him right in the head. Failing that, you level your next shot in order to take aim and fire again. So you spend the 2 momentum to swift task. Were you taking the aim minor action?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then did you also... were you were going to invoke one of the values there?
Yes. Whichever one of those 2 could apply.
Let's see. Well, at this point, survival above all else makes sense, because if you don't kill the captain now, it is either him or you.
Yeah.
So, with that, that will give you the auto crit, and I will ask for another control plus security roll.
Yeah.
That is 2 successes. Because of fire at will, that would have been the difficulty for your task. You also have the automatic critical success, so that means that you have a total of 4 successes on the board, earning back 4 points of momentum.
Because I failed that first task, can I use my backup plans?
Remind me what that talent does.
Anytime you or an ally in the scene fails to cast roll, you gain a momentum.
That would work out. Your backup plan was to swift task and shoot him again.
So how many momentum do we get back?
That would put it up, I think, to 3 points of momentum. So your pool should be 4 in total.
Okay.
I do have to ask again, Cheesy, was that last shot also lethal?
Yeah, absolutely. He made me mad. He shouldn't have dodged the first one.
That's what you get for dodging the first.
The GM will take an additional threat. That's technically 2 threat I need to assign myself in the overall count. What you're seeing in Roll20 is relatively up to date. I need to deal out 1 more for myself. Okay. So roll me damage for that disruptor.
Nice.
That
Good
is
amount.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 5 of those are effectively doubled because of vicious. Yeah, the vicious 1 quality applies there.
It's like those rare moments where Star Trek is just
12.
that vicious when it comes to the death.
Yeah. I will ask, to help fluff this out, Remora, is the disruptor tuned high enough to vaporize, or is it more of the piercing beam sort of thing, aimed as lethally as possible?
probably the
disruptors
vaporize.
Do disruptors even have different settings?
There is some variability to will probably kill you eventually up to disintegrate the crowd.
Depends on the disruptor, I think.
A little bit, yeah. With the original series, the Klingons had like roughly 5 settings.
I was going to say, like, is she
Oh no,
using
they had the
Romulan
Klingons had 2 settings:
or
kills
Klingon
you
one?
and definitely kills you.
I think grievous injury was the intent of the lowest possible setting, and
Not
kill
quite
if you,
dead and dead.
yeah. Shoot them in a limb to disable them and dishonor them and extract information using the mind sifter.
Yeah, just to ask, Cheesy, are you using what kind of disruptor are you using? Are you using a Klingon one or a different one?
Just says disruptor pistol.
Fair enough.
Oh, so Romulan.
No
Aha!
Romulan.
What-
No Romulan.
What's a
We
Romulan?
don't know what's wrong. No one knows what's wrong. Yeah.
Except for the Colonel, apparently. Don't think about the Borg, everybody.
Or Romulan Borgs.
Just
Romborgs.
That was the wrong time to take a drink.
That's truly the worst genre. Anyway,
Oh.
Our
Remora,
doctor's choking to death in space.
Oh god, I've gotten venereal disease. Like,
oh dear. Remora, the second disruptor shot aims true. This one catching him square in the chest, and I think it's very much for those of you that remember the search for Spock when Krug absolutely wastes his gunner for blowing up the Grissom. It's that blast that like hits his chest, illuminates, and the wave spreads out, and Argon kind of flails his arms for a moment in pain and surprise. He actually tries to stand and like get to you, but he falls to his knees as the disintegration takes full effect, and it like you are well out of his reach as he just completely vanishes. At this point, Kesh kind of like lurches back in surprise. Both him and Racco have turned around. Racco has, for his part, turned, and he's already got a knife and a disruptor like at the ready. Remora, what you playing at?
You want to be a pirate forever?
I'm kind of okay with my lifestyle choices to this point.
Yeah. But didn't it kind of suck working for him?
Yeah. Argon's a bit of an asshole. But
Yeah.
I got paid regularly with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some decent chow here and there. So I felt the ice was pretty thick under my feet, if you catch my drift.
Yeah. It's a shame that he ran away.
He kind of narrows the one eye that's not exposed. He ran away, did he?
Oh yeah. There's an escape pod that's about to leave in 10 minutes. He did it after vaporizing his pilot and communications officer.
Why are you bringing me into this?
You don't belong here. I don't belong here. It's time to leave.
And just what was I doing in this whole stretch of time here?
He knocked you out after you tried to chase him down.
His antennae like curl downward, or like they droop a little bit. Really, I gotta. I guess as long as it's the Noskin doing it. Famous was not gonna be happy with me though.
Yeah, he is. You tried to fight him as best you could. I mean, think about it. The only other person bigger than him on this ship was me.
Well, I'm not gonna be happy about getting conked in the head here by the dead helm officer.
Yeah, that is gonna suck. But you'll be fine, probably.
Ugh. I don't know what I don't know what this is all about here, Remora, but well, if you'd rather spend time in a cell on that Earth ship, then I guess that's your prerogative. Kesh, you really sure you want to go along with this? I He'll step away from his console. Remora, are you quite sure about this? We could still we could still launch that escape pod. We could blow it up and say that Argin just ran off and that we punished him in exchange. You could be made full captain.
I don't owe my life to these people. I owe my life to those people. Because of them, there's a strong chance that my people will survive out here in this horrible, dense, deep part of space. And if I can help them in any way, I'm gonna do it.
Aw.
Give me a presence. I'm going to say, give me, let's call it a, oh geez, let's call this,
Emotional manipulation.
I'm thinking of a good way to get this across. Well, I'll just fluff it for the narrative and say Kesh. Well, I'll let Kesh think a little bit just for fluff purposes. See how much he values your friendship. And give him. I'm going to make this a daring appeal. Or, no, I'll make it insight so that he kind of catches your drift. I am sorry, Remora. I just... If I fall out of line and if this fails somehow, if Famous were to find out what happened, I can't risk that. Not for myself, not for those I care about. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Understand. So which one of you wants to get knocked out first?
Oh, I really don't think Racco's gonna come behind him and with the butt of his weapon, yeah, he's not even gonna. He's not going to see it coming. And I'll still roll just because this does technically get evaluated for threat purposes still.
Vulcan nerve pinches.
More like the Andorian nerve jog, which is swift hit to the head with the butt of his pistol. Kesh, for his part, manages to not eat absolute shit, but still comically gets hit. I'm just going to rule that's an automatic knockout. See if he goes like completely prone. Yeah, that's. Oh wait, no, that was rolling for Kesh, not Racco. Racco more properly. I'll just say he knocks him out. Comical effect. No, thing is, I can actually understand where you're coming from with that now. You always got to keep a code, no matter where you are, and if they're helping your people, then, well, as one eye meets your own. I've heard rumors the Earthers were pretty helpful to Andoria in its time of need, or, well, they might have had something to... They helped along this peace that that my people can enjoy, and I might have left that all behind long, long ago, but it's still got... That's got to be worth something.
I'd ask you to come with me, but you have a very big problem with authority sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean... I could always... if you really think that the Earthers will take kindly to you, then maybe you can put in a good word for us. I could haul Kesh into an escape pod, rig the engines to blow, and That way we don't have to tell any stories at all.
That's a great plan. You know what? Let's do that.
Yeah, not really so much of a plan. I'm just kind of making this up as we go. He says, hefting cash. Wait, why am I doing this? You shot the captain. You drag him, and he tosses him to like slump forward on your side.
Are we taking on an entire Marquis ship? Is that what's happening?
Well, thus far you're only taking on an escape pod. Although if there's a decision to commandeer a full Nausicaan raider, that might be evolving.
Captain
Yeah,
Thrill,
sure.
I'm sure.
Yep. I'll tell you what, Remora. As all this goes forward, I'll let you think about what you want to do next with this. So I think that we should cut over to the Aegis, as it is now entering the corridor. So, let's see here. We'll get a quick look at just an establishing shot as Aegis, moving at 1/4 impulse, has entered the corridor. There are scene traits in effect as you make your approach. The first one that is worth noting would be the Pirate's Run trait. A narrow corridor maneuver makes maneuvering at warp drive extremely unwise. At this stage of the corridor, any specialized maneuver tasks like evasive action or attack patterns are more difficult. And there are, as you approach, dozens of asteroids that appear to be staggered ahead of you in the way of the main asteroid. They present obstacles you could navigate through, or around, but they just considerable number of obstacles showing up here. So
That's fine.
let's take this back onto the bridge here as Romanov has stepped off the turbo lift, and let me just make her visible here. So the turbo lift doors open. Romanov steps onto the bridge.
Okay, I will just nod over to the captain, and I thought I would run things from up here.
Glad to have you up here. I need you to be start prepping your repair teams for possible point blank fire.
I already have
and
damage control damage control teams in position. Also, I'm coordinating with somebody down in engineering to handle keep hull polarization as strong as we can. That's going to be
excellent.
my.
As
Oh,
long as you
and-
keep the engines moving and the weapons firing, that's all I care about.
That's it, and I thought I'd try to reduce the amount of damage we take. I also set up a rescue team backup, with your approval in case we can't transport.
Hopefully, it won't come to that, but I appreciate it.
Always try to keep you covered, ma'am. She'll sit down at her spot.
I'm not that old, Miss Romanov, she says with a small chuckle.
She smiles back and laughs.
I dare say Romanov is probably older than Sharp by a
Yeah.
good stretch.
Probably. I mean, engineers have usually been around the block, so
Yeah,
I don't know how old is Sharp. What's
Sharp is 29, I think, right now.
Yeah, she's probably got a couple years on you, at least one or two.
I mean, she was chief engineer a decade ago.
Yeah, so she's probably 32,
Whoa.
33, somewhere in that
Sun's on
range.
fire.
Well,
Yeah.
Maybe even 34.
Crichton will silence the silence and emergency alarm. Sorry, sir. So as a reminder, my popcorn is burning now.
Damn it! I left some specimens on heat in the sick bay.
Don't do that.
Yep. Let's see.
Um,
Stewart is going to look from her position. Captain, I'm picking up signs of intermittent energy signals within the among the asteroids that we're approaching. Possible signs of more of ships that might be in the area. I'm also picking up. Oh no! I'm detecting detonations in some of the smaller asteroids ahead of us.
full stop. Put emergency power into hull plating. Hector, I need you to start targeting any large objects with the phasers.
From the okay.
Large objects coming our way.
Just target or fire, Captain?
Fire if they're getting too close.
All right. So just for perspective here on the tactical, Aegis has made it in a fairly deep segment, nearing what was the last known position of the shuttle pod, but along sections like along sections in this grid, there are asteroids approaching. I'm going to switch it to a different view. You are approaching some asteroids, and what has happened, and as Stewart explains, several smaller ones have been detonated and are creating sort of like additional clouds of them. From her position on the bridge, Stewart notes, nothing quite large is on our way, nothing that the deflector can't screen out, but it's going to make maneuvering more difficult. It's creating heavy debris concentrations.
That's expected. Of course they would.
We'll need to get into close range in order to start even trying to affect them with our deflector. Further, I'd say with all of that, if we continue at impulse power, we could be at further risk of suffering complications and damage. Maneuvering thrusters would be necessary to get through that.
She just nods. So do so. Mr. Hector, Mr. Alvarez, start setting up firing solutions as we planned.
Running firing solutions.
Right. And so as the helm moves you into a close position, Stewart is glancing over the sensors, keeping an eye open. Yeah.
Zach, from my talk with Famous, how egotistical is he?
I mean, he seems to consider this his own little fiefdom, so that would be there'd be an opportunity to goad him for certain.
She kind of just puts her hand, rests her head on her fist, on the railing of her chair, and thinks for a moment and says calmly, "Mr. Crichton, can you send a broadband signal to? Nope, out of character. My techno babble's messed up. Can you send a hail to Mr. Famous all channels?"
Opening channel, or opening comms, all channels open, sir.
This is the captain of the Aegis. I expected some famous and capable pirate lord, but all I find is predictability and boredom. If you really are as you claim you are, I'm waiting. And she just cuts off.
Let's see. Crichton's going to monitor the comms for a moment. I would say, Captain, if you want to make a provocation, if you want to create an advantage, maybe get someone out of position, we'll call this, let's make this a contested roll here. try to disrupt his control and command with your.
I just want to disrupt his sensibilities.
Yeah.
And
Let's call it. I think daring and command would be a good way to make this gambit work. And speaking of, you may gamble with us if you so wish.
sweet. I'm going to send I'm going to take a momentum if you guys don't mind.
No, go ahead.
No, it's all right.
Nope, those don't matter. All right, let's go.
Hey, you score 3 successes. And
I'm gonna re-roll that one because I have cautious command.
very good.
Nope,
Well,
didn't matter.
you still manage to earn yourself a bonus success, so that will restore your momentum pool. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that. Oh, sorry about that. There, just drop one of those and get rid of that at your leisure.
Sorry.
There. Quite all right. Sir, I've intercepted a broadband hail. Well, I think it's on a frequency mostly for the Nausicaans. The first one to bring me the head of that captain shall receive a squadron of 3 ships.
She just smiles, and there's like a slow, please smile, and then she doesn't look, but she just says, "Miss Stewart, if you could send a sensor ping." She just like looks at the grid and just points a very obvious location, like an obvious direction, just over here. Make it look like we're looking in that direction pretty firmly. Mr. Alvarez, I want you to set a timer and firing solution to this coordinates. Sets the opposite direction, the more obvious selection path that this guy's going to take, and do a 3-second barrage with torpedoes.
Okay.
Give it a few minutes. At 3.
So I'm going to ask Panda, like, are you intending this to be like an opening roll of combat to like just torpedo some asteroids?
No, I'm basically I'm gonna prepare for his charge. Like basically, I'm expecting him to charge at me, but I'm trying to give him an opening.
So you want
I want to feint. I want to give a feint and then just rip apart the obvious zone that he's going to come across because I'm giving it to him.
Okay. So basically having Alvarez ready a torpedo attack action.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Quite all right. Quite all right. So out at, I think that you are still on medium range, just on the cusp of close range here, when one of the Nausicaan ships, tempted by Famous's offer, is going to make its run here. So let me just open up a radar sheet. And this is where the other scene trait has come into play, lying in wait. For those of you that might remember from last session, this had been activated. And the way that it works, I can now read out. Let's see, just finding that trait here. Nausicaan ships await behind cover of some of the larger asteroids with ready actions to attack as they pass between the asteroids. So, cutting back out to the space map here, the first rate, let's see, let me move out to... Alright, everyone should...
Can I spend an advantage to negate that lying in wait advantage? Since I'm basically calling him out and I know where he's going to come from. I want him to come from here.
Well, you've kind of already countered it in large part because you have the ready action in effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That'll at least allow you to be ready for this first one, who what's going to happen is that with that provocation, I'm going to treat that as the beginning of combat. A Nausicaan raider here is going to move slightly out of position, and what they're going to do, like, they will attempt this with a their basic crew task. Let's see here. So they would start with 2 successes on their roll, and the task that they initiate at first is going to be basically a darting maneuver. They will fly out from behind one asteroid to basically to the cover of another. However, as they do so, they they dart out from the asteroid towards Aegis and then circle basically pull a U-turn back around in order to loop around the asteroid. So their initial task, that is going to be, let's see. Their initial task maneuvering between these asteroids is going to be a difficulty 2 roll. They score 2 successes from their crew and another 2 from the engines, or like the engines of the ship. So that is 4 successes. That'll be 2 threat here, and I'm going to hold that in the pool because now we get in the phase where everybody has activated the other's trap card. The Nausicaan Raider had a readied action where they can conduct an attack when they are darting between the asteroids. So before they move to cover, they get to launch their effective second task, which by doing so they knock out what they can do for the turn, because these are scale 2 raiders. So one of the threat I've taken in, I'm going to spend to purchase an additional die. They are attacking you from what is medium range with... Oh no, that is 1 success but a complication. And so they do hit with 2 successes. I think I will... I'm going to use that to give you guys some extra momentum because the maneuver is just a little sloppy. Craig, you may draw 2 momentum.
Okie dokie.
But they will still land their attack with the... Well, actually, no, they don't land their attack with the disruptors unless I succeed at cost somehow. I think I'm... No, I'm going to say this one was just too sloppy to conduct the attack. That'll kind of factor in with the complication. So, yeah, the Nausicaan manages to slip out, but they fire at range that is too extensive, and immediately realize they've made a mistake. So they try to move back out of range. However, at this time, Colonel, since you had Ensign Alvarez ready the torpedoes, you may now fire and try to shoot the retreating Nausicaan.
Sweet. All right, Alvarez, go for it. Spend momentum. Do what you want.
Oh God, poor Hector.
You have a full thing, my dude.
So what do I roll for torpedoes? I've never done this. Neither has he, so it works out very well.
Yep. So this is
We just got these installed.
this is a control plus security task with a difficulty of 3. The ship will assist you with security and weapons. Now, I do have to ask one question here. Captain, is this going to be a single torpedo, or were you ordering a salvo?
He did tell Hector to ready a salvo.
A salvo.
Okay.
And he is not taking any liberties with the schisms on his own part at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hector, these are explosives, so you do have at least
Does the explosives count?
It does count.
That's very gracious of you.
Just on his screen, there's a little paperclip that says, "I see you're trying to launch a salvo. Would you like some help?"
Yep.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, control
just to make
security.
just
I'll
to
buy
make sure
another...
Cole's-
Sorry.
Sorry about that. I was just going to say I'm making sure that the pool is up to date. I believe now I should have, since I spent some threat of my own, but also gained a little bit back, I have 6. Your momentum pool is also currently at 6 because of the complication, so you have stuff to spend if you would like.
I'm definitely buying a third die. Focus supplies. Control security. Yeah, let's roll.
Nice.
This.
Also, quick hello to our friends at the Architects of Fate. Glad you could come in and join us today.
Hello.
Would somebody
We
care
put on
to...
a show for you with explosions.
Yeah. Would somebody care to roll for the ship's weapons plus security, please?
I'll roll it. As captain, it is my duty to perform these things. If I can find a sheet. Where the fuck's the sheet? Hello?
I mean, I got it. If anyone.
Nope, I got it.
Okay. It's been so long since I fired torpedoes.
And harmonic. Nope, not the limpets. Spatial torpedoes. Let's double check to make sure that the dice are going to work the way it's supposed to.
Why does it say on the screen Solek security measure when I try to fire torpedoes? Who is this Solek?
Bit too early for it.
But before that, I'm going to add one more die for the damage.
Oh, well, we can wait to evaluate that until after the ship rolls here. No, we had to roll for like the ship to actually, basically to see if we got momentum on top of Hector's success.
Oh, okay. My bad.
We can still, yeah. We'll
all right. So it's weapons and then
weapons plus security.
And security. Cool. One die. Come on.
Yep.
No.
Okay, well, while that doesn't succeed, the salvo is at least going to hit. Spatial torpedoes, when fired in a salvo, you do add, I believe, 2 challenge dice to the typical roll. So, Panda, I'll actually just ask you, cut
Press
that...
1 again.
Yeah. Add 2 to whatever... we'll just take the first 2 off of that roll there, so that'll be...
Well, I mean, it's doubled, right? So it's just... Because it's 2 dice already.
Oh, and you were spending like 2 momentum to purchase basically.
No, well,
extra
yeah. I was going to spend 1 momentum to add it, but when I add a volley, what does it do? Sorry.
That's quite all right. So, the way that a salvo works is that instead of the apologies here. When you attack with torpedoes, typically the way it works, difficulty 3 task, a torpedo attack adds 1 to threat when you're just firing a single torpedo. A salvo allows me to take an additional 2 threat for a total of 3. It also grants it is 1 additional damage actually to the attack. It also, I had forgotten this, it adds the spread effect. So the way that we could do this here is that like if the way that we would treat this would be the first roll. I mean, the rolls are about identical, but we could take the first one there, which had 5 points of stress being done.
Mm-hmm.
We could add the first. We could add that 2 from the second roll that you had, and just say that accounts for the extra challenge dice worth of damage.
Yep, and then I'm going to spend a second momentum for penetration.
Okay, so that would ignore up to 2 points of resistance. And then let me look at effects here for space damage, just double check. The attack inflicts additional damage elsewhere on the target. If 1 or more effect is rolled, it inflicts 1 additional hit to a random system, even when the attack was targeting a specific system. Deals half the damage of the initial hit, rounded up, plus 1 for every effect rolled. So, resolving this whole thing, we have effectively 7 points of damage on the first hit. Torpedoes lance out of the Aegis and fire at the retreating Nausicaan vessel. They begin to collide with the ship's shielding, and the sheer barrage of torpedoes proves just too much for the Raiders' shields, which, or at least too much in concentration, to where it will do 3 points of. Well, let's see. It does 7 points of damage. That would have been down to, or it would have been reduced to 5 points. But because of the penetration momentum spend, it cut through the 2 points of resistance. So the barrage of torpedoes hits. One of them manages to catch through the hole in the well, it almost catches through the hole in the shields, but that is it still collides there. So I'm going to say you've done effectively after spread. You've done 8 points of damage to it, and that is definitely enough to cause 1 breach. So the vessel is going to. I'm going to say that it loses its next turn here. That'll be 1 raider less able to react. So it is. It's still, it limps away and manages to get back behind the asteroid, but it leaves a trail of plasma behind. So I'm going to say the crossed out mark indicates that it has suffered enough damage to be disabled, but I'm also going to give it the, let's see, just looking for something here. We'll use this castle effect to show that it is behind cover right now. So.
And Hector is like, yeah! Oh, sorry.
Yep. So with all of that, the turn now goes back to you as the Aegis is firmly engaged with the enemy.
Yep. She'll just smile and say, "Nice shooting, Mr. Alvarez. Keep them racking." And she'll just look to Helm, set towards full thrusters, nice and steady. And I'm just going to move forward and prepare another volley, if need be, for anybody else approaching.
Gotcha. The helm officer acknowledges. It says, "Taking us in now. This'll be a moment, but we'll firing up maneuvering thrusters. I should be able to get us around to the asteroid within a couple rounds, sir." Or whatever the plot appropriate distance is for the whole situation. So let's.
She'll just look at things, consider, and look back over to Steward. Steward, how much do you need to detect? How much do you need to detect movement in debris? Can you detect the ship if? Can you detect the ship's silhouette through the miscellaneous debris at a very low sensor ping?
If you're asking if we can try to break through some of this interference, Captain, then
No, I'm simply if you could detect movement around us at under passive sensors due to the sheer amount of debris out here.
with a bit of additional power, or if we route some additional power to the sensors, we might be able to give our sensor suites the ability to pick up some of the displacement and possibly even surges in the ion trails that would give us even like a few moments of preparation before they attack. Maybe even track how many there are actually here.
Romanov?
Yeah.
You heard the lady. In the meanwhile, Miss Stewart, why don't we have a bit of sensor problems, shall we?
Captain?
Once it's done, shut off the active sensors. Let's keep it passive. Let's, for a moment, act like we suddenly lost the ability to see.
Okay. I will ask, which of those do you want to make like the proper roll here?
I first want to set it up. So let's do the engineering first.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So,
Romanov,
what?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say what combo.
I think that this would basically be a control plus engineering role here, since you are creating advantage. I'm going to rule that this will be a difficulty 2 roll, since it does fall under that purview.
Okay, and the only thing I could throw at you in terms of focuses for this would be computers or electroplasma power systems. Since I'm faking a sensor system being down, I would argue that I get electroplasma power systems.
We're trying to make the sensors more sensitive in passive mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, you are
Either
correct.
way.
Power systems
Yeah.
is definitely right.
Okay, then I am activating focus power system used. And do you guys want me to take a die on this? This is critical. You want me to take a momentum?
Yes.
Go for it, man.
I will
Okay,
say
yeah.
this also
Guys.
means like 1 point of power from the Aegis's reserves being deducted. I'll say that you've had time to reset to 6.
Okay,
Zach,
great. Then
Zach,
we're at
my
that's not
ultimate goal through this whole thing is to play enough tricks that they will be incredibly hesitant in the long run to go after me. Like
great idea.
like-
Just keep throwing tricks at them until they go away.
until they don't want to attack because they're afraid of if I'm playing possum or not.
Okay.
It
So-
takes a lot to knock out Nosik and Garumba.
Sure.
It does. But hey, if you kick them in the Garoomba, they go down. Okay. God knows where that's located. Okay, here it comes.
But also, not all of them are Nausicaans, I imagine. So,
Hard
Okay.
to. Well, yeah.
Did it take? No, I'm just giving a second for I clicked. And let me make sure I don't want to roll twice. Okay, I'm going to roll again because it didn't seem to go through.
Okay.
Here we
I'll
go.
take the first of whatever roll comes through. There it is.
Yeah.
3 successes, so that yeah. Romanov, you've routed additional power to
Yay.
the sensors, so you will have a I will, as part of that, I'm going to say that you have a rough sense of other Noskin vessels in the area.
Okay.
At present, let's see, I'm going to actually spend 2 of the threat that I have. So you can make out from the from the brief moment where the sensors get some additional power to when Steward shuts things down, and you can still kind of get the passive readout, you detect that there are 3 additional raiders immediately nearby. They are all...
Holy. Okay, well, then this was useful to know that we are generally surrounded,
Yep.
which we kind of guessed anyway. But
yeah.
So with that task, the turn order goes back to the Nausicaans. I'm going to say the raider from the... as you transition into close range, the raider in the bottom left corner is going to be the next one to strike. So it is going to conduct the same sort of flitting maneuver that it made from... or as the other one made. So let's just get that set up here.
by the way, Zach, I love the art for this session. Just awesome, dude.
Thank the good folks over at Star Trek Online. They've made some very nice settings in the past.
Well, you grabbed it, you put our ship and the raiders, and they look good.
Okay, so the raider, I think it's not going to quite make it into... oh, wait, no, the ship still assists there. Okay, this time the Raider's not going to be so smooth as they try to steady out to take a shot. Once again, the lower left-hand Raider, as you've entered close range, now is making its own effort to attack. It is going to... I'm going to buy the additional die in order to give it a third die for the crew task. That'll be enough, plus the ship. 4 successes. Okay, let me update my... Well, first let me update my threat counter, because I've just effectively spent down a little bit. That the Nausicaan Raider, as it comes out of position, it lines up a shot and takes aim with its disruptors, so they are going to fire. I am going to take one of the floating threat that I have, and I'm going to put it into, let's see, just reminding myself of... I'll just go for the penetration spend to reduce, or like allow it to cut through your resistance by 2. So, that is... let's see. 1, 2, 3. Alright, that is missing the vicious effect where it's supposed to be. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus, for vicious, that is... let's see. That's an additional 4 points. So that'd be 11... Oh, jeez, that's 11 points of stress there. Let me make sure that that's calculating properly, because that seems like...
That's a lot of stress from one disruptor cannon.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and also remember, I do have that that thingy set up, so...
Yes, so that'll...
Just to interject when that is applicable.
Yeah, so I'm just double-checking damage here to make sure that this is properly being measured here. So let's see. Additional power. Okay. So let's see here. So for an energy weapon, it should be, alright, scale plus the ship's security department, so that's 4 right there. Cannons give it an additional 2 challenge dice for a total, well, wait a minute, so scale of 2, the cannons give it 2. The crew department should, because it's a basic crew, that gives it 1. And then, what am I missing here? Scale plus security. So that should be a total of... That should only be a total of 5, I would think. Challenge dice that rolls there. Let me just go in here and... I'm going to double check on that disruptor. See what's going on with this. So, damage 2. Effect vicious 1. Apologies for the... oh, wait a minute. The Nausicaan Raider, that's why it actually has a security of 4 there. So 4... Yep, that's all right there. That is 8 challenge dice. These are very well-equipped little craft.
Okay. Any way we can mitigate some of that damage a little bit before it hits us?
So your resistance does cut down some of it. I think it cuts down like 10 points of... or rather, it cuts down a point of damage there. But that is like after the penetration effect. Otherwise, I think that is going to drain the hull plating there. But Romanov's task does come into effect as it does damage. So let me...
Zach is trying to kill us today. My first game.
So nothing new there.
Yep.
Okay.
First, before we get to the task, I'm going to... I will play it generously here. This is enough
Okay.
to definitely cause one breach, but I will allow Romanov to attempt to restore some hull plating, and that way, if it manages to be enough, then you could possibly spare yourself the second breach of like the hull plating collapsing.
Got it.
Or depolarizing. But first, let's see what the I'm going to see what the first breach is. Okay, the first breach occurs to the ship's structure, so now I have to roll a single challenge die. If I get an effect, then that is going to cause an explosion somewhere that could possibly injure a crew member.
Oopsie.
Nope. So that's just going to be like a very rough set of hits as it begins firing all along the hull. Brian, give me.
Okay. Is this worthy of me countering? Probably, right? Oh, all countering is good.
Basically, go ahead. You will need to expend 1 point of power.
We
So
also
that
have
brings-
rugged design. Don't forget.
That brings us from 5 to 4, right?
Ah, yes, rugged design. Let me double check here. Somebody read that off for me, please.
Did you type it in here?
I
Rugged
did.
design. Hold up, I
Rugged
have it.
design should be typed in the.
Reduce the difficulty of all tasks to repair the ship by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Okay. No, that's that would be if you were repairing a breach. This or like repairing damage from a breach. This is just this
I'm
is just
countering
basically
it
to
in
restore
Roman.
hull. Yeah, basically the readied action that Romanov has here that I'm allowing you to do would be to restore the polarization of the hull. So that's not
Okay.
repairing the breach. That's restore basically the equivalent of getting your shields back up in time for the second hits to do
Okay.
damage.
Okay, so control and engineering, or is there another stat? Another attribute?
Let's see. It would be control plus engineering. It would be
Okay.
performed at a difficulty of 1, assisted by the ship's structure and engineering. Because the hull plating is falling to 0, I think the difficulty does increase by 1.
Okay, I'd like to grab a momentum, and none of my focuses really apply. Unless part of my preparation was, I had the computers ready to help me with calculations regarding routing of power based on the hits and which power relays are down or something like that. That's
Power
along.
systems applies definitely.
Okay, then I will take that. I will definitely take that. Okay, and I'm adding 1 extra die, guys. Pulling 1 from momentum. Any objections?
Go for it.
Okay, here it goes. Let's see if there's anything else I can throw at this. Now, if this is, I do not believe this is our only shot, so I'm not expending a value on this one. I'll
Well,
save a value for a more serious hit.
there is one more thing I think that should be noted, because technically, like, you got as you guys have been taking turns, Romanov, you have actually already acted once with the advantage that was created, and you're acting again here. So it might
Okay.
actually be. I think it's justifiable to increase the difficulty to 3 on this, because you're
Fair enough.
basically
Well, that's
doing the
legit.
equivalent of like a swift task.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm
you may-
moving very quickly in this situation, and the situation is moving quickly too. So I buy that. Totally agreed. Then I'm rolling 3 dice with a focus, and remember, I have cautious engineering. When you buy 1 or more d20s by spending momentum, you may reroll a single d20.
Yes.
And there we go. I have repair team leader. That's afterwards though. So, and if we want to get power back, guys, I can do a little bit more power. I can spend 1 momentum to get 1 power back. Okay, but here goes my initial roll. And hopefully that's good.
Let's
Okay.
see. That on the die there, that is 2 successes, which puts you within 1 of succeeding here. The ship can roll for structure plus
I got it.
engineer.
Plus, I have my Andorian in the big room.
Yeah. Well, it would be an either-or situation on terms of the ship assistant.
Woo!
Well, the ship just came through. She loves us.
All right, so you immediately get back 2 points of hull plating.
Go Daedalus. Go Daedalus.
You also you have 1 point of momentum incoming. You could spend it to regain a point of hull plating, or you could allow that to go to your pool. Basically,
No, I'm putting that immediately into hull plating. We must be strong against our enemies.
Okay. Yep. So with that, you channel what power you can. Hull plating is restored back to 30%. And yeah, with that, the raider has not quite made it behind the asteroid field, the bottom left corner one. So the turn order goes back to you guys here. Who would like to go next here?
As captain, I'll direct my order to Alvarez to fire another volley. So I'm using my action to force an assist, but also forcing him to roll.
Okay.
Without
I will note
60.
you are at close range now. So you are in optimal
phaser.
phase cannon range.
Yeah, phaser then. We gotta save the ammo.
Okay.
Where we can.
All right.
So we use a power, right?
Come again?
For phasers.
Yes. So the way that the way this would work, basically, the captain using the direct action is basically telling you, Alvarez, to commit to, or basically to launch another attack. So your difficulty does technically go up to 3 since you're attempting another action. The captain, however, will assist you, and I will also allow the ship to assist you.
Okay. So another control security, I presume.
Yes.
I don't think I have any focus. I could even try justifying for phase cannons.
Yeah. If you haven't activated Alvarez, you could always give him a new focus here.
Yeah, game tactical systems.
Is that a good catch-all?
Shipboard
Yeah.
tactical systems will
Shipboard
work.
tactical
Yeah.
systems.
That
That's
sounds good.
what Shira has.
That sounds good. And I will do that.
Alvarez just looking over the manual on a data pad as he enters in commands.
It's like a dummy's guide to shipboard tactical systems.
Yep.
He just
At first, the ship. No, you shut your mouth there.
Oh, why are you doing this? So I'm spending a
Nuh-uh,
momentum
nuh-uh,
for a
I'm
third
spending
die.
2 momentum. 2 momentum's getting spent there. No.
Okay. Well, let's
How about
let's
complete the
result-
roll first?
Yeah. Let's see where we get to with the roll.
Okay, so
Alv-
I have a focus. I'm spending 1 momentum for a third die, and what's the difficulty I'm trying to reach?
3.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, and then Colonel Sharp, you also assist with command plus presence.
Yep.
I feel like we can ignore the ship
I
roll.
select the cannon firing arc intensity to 7 and bias.
All right. So let's see. Let us resolve this in proper order, with the Colonel's assist and with with Ensign Hector Alvarez scoring the 3 requisite successes. You have technically beaten the difficulty and gained yourself 1 momentum, just floating out there. You have also scored a complication, so that either means accepting it with a narrative complication, giving the GM 2 threat to ignore the complication, or buying it off with 2 momentum. What would your selection be?
I, since I'm the one who rolled it, would like to just use Spear of Discovery to give 2 momentum out and then spend it on that. Or actually, no, I'll use my freaking roll or my value, I don't start fights, I'd finish them, and just re-roll that.
Technically, it is a. It was a. Well, yeah. It. Since you were the one to direct, you do have the purview to
Yep.
do that. I'll allow
Yep.
it. So, give that a.
Yeah.
All right. So that's now revised where you have 3 momentum.
Oh,
incoming.
and veteran. No.
Yay.
Okay. You don't get back your determination, but
Ooh.
effectively, by using your determination to re-roll for the ship, Horn was able to hit, and you were able to earn 3 points of momentum now with a grand total of 6.
Alvarez
successful
was able to hit. And,
Alvarez.
Yeah, I forgot
Yes.
switching the character for the roll. But
Yep. So the phase cannon locks on, and Alvarez, you would score a textbook hit on the vessel. Somebody with the ship, go ahead and roll damage for the
I have
phase
the ship
cannon.
sheet right here, and I'm gonna spend a momentum to penetrate.
Okay.
And let's spend 1 more momentum as well for additional damage. I'll bring this up to 3.
Okay, so that is 2, 3, 4, 5. Then with the additional spend, that is
Nope,
6.
I'm spending another momentum to re-roll that. 'Cause that's garbage. 3 dice, that's zeros. Nuh-uh.
Okay,
Nuh-uh.
you may roll 3 challenge
Rookie
dice
number.
then. As it is, with 6 points of damage and the penetration momentum spend, that will overcome the Raiders' resistance and be enough to at least do 1 breach.
Nope, did it break? I
Try
think
that
it broke.
again.
It broke.
Try it again.
There we go.
Okay,
Better.
that's a total of 8 points of stress. So, the aft phase cannon will lock on as it tries to hide back behind the asteroid field. And as it settles into position, it will be enough once again to hit the hit their engines, basically rake along the back of the ship, causing continued disruptions and plasma fires on it. It's still moving, but it's slower, and
You did include the negation of the armor, right? Resistance.
I did include that.
Okay.
Yeah. You knock out. Basically, you've managed to knock out these things. They have slightly more shields than the damage you were doing at the moment.
Okay.
With the 1 additional point of damage that you bought there, that would also be. It'd actually be 9 points, but that's still not quite enough.
Damn. Okay.
Okay. I think with let's see. So, keeping track here, we had the spend for penetration, the spend to buy that, and
The
then
3 total 3.
Yep. So the momentum pool stays where it is at 3. I hope that this is clear for all of you in the audience here. I will do my best to keep everything in sequence. If there are any problems, feel free to leave it in the comments or the chat, and I will take that feedback into account.
I hope you guys don't mind me spending so much momentum. I'm just want to leave a scar for everyone that attacks us.
It is justified.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, with that, another Noskin vessel taking damage and limping away here. But no sooner does this happen than as the turn shifts back to the enemy, a third vessel breaks from cover, and on its race to the between asteroids, it's basically going to fire its engines and then cut them, steering its thrusters to line up a shot with you, or line up a shot with the Aegis. So basically, skid or let inertia carry it into cover as it loops by instead of the usual maneuver. So first, the engine task that they perform. Oh no. That is a complication.
Oops.
I I think I'm going to spend a couple threat to ignore that. 'Cause I'm just going to drop 2 threat to ignore whatever complication comes from that. But they are going to be out of position, and for some reason the threat does not want to come out of my pool. There we go. All right. So get that
Down to 4 threat.
Yes.
Good. We can keep whittling him down.
Yep. So while the Nausicaans are actually going to be off course and not make it back into the proper position, they are, however, still going to launch their attack with that third threat I spent. That is going to go into their readied attack. So the third Nausicaan Raider fires at you. 2 successes from the crew. And then another 2 from the ship. That will hit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of stress. And let's see, that is 5 effects there, so that means that's going to mean that's doubled to 10, so a total of 12 points of stress. That is 1 breach for the impact, for exceeding the necessary 4 points of stress as damage done to your hull plating. That is 2 breaches for knocking out the hull plating altogether. So
You know what it means? New characters, everyone.
I was just here for the session in order for my poor character to die. I got back, and then he killed me.
We waited
Joke's
for
on you.
you.
My character's still on the asteroid. Wait.
Oh, ouch. Yeah. So
Okay.
while the Nausicaan moves
Structure.
while the Nausicaan moves out of position, the blasts manage to it rakes you with blasts along your primary hull because of the breach to structure. No challenge die there, so nobody's going to take shrapnel on this, but what is going to happen is that the blasts are going to cause considerable shattering, or shaking on the ship. Gas and gas, rocks, and sparks are going to fly out from consoles as the ship
I like how
takes...
it's always rocks. Just rocks fly.
We really need to stop making this stuff out of explodium. Seriously, I swear. In 100
No,
years,
nothing
these
has
ships are
exploded
still
yet.
made of explodium.
Nothing
It's
has
cheap.
exploded yet. This is where we just, all just pretend like the whole ship is vibrating.
Yep.
This is when we shake back. We've been cued by the director to shake back and forth.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep. So
And Stewards just has a geyser of sparks. Yeah.
yep.
Okay, now
Crichton
I believe I can counter one of those.
Well,
Let me look at my character sheet, but I
I'll
have
allow-
to do some on my action. I believe.
Allow me to do some fluffing here first for the narrative. Crichton puts his hand up to his earpiece. Damage reported on decks across the primary hull. Main sensor dome hit. Some mild injuries reported as well, sir. Medical teams are responding. Yeah. And then Alvarez too. You see that the hull plating status is reading as depolarized now, so you are effectively vulnerable to further attacks.
We can hopefully fix that next turn.
Yeah. Well, the turn does come back to you, and I will say it applies to anybody who is acting on a friendly basis. So, Colonel, you've done something. Romanov has done multiple things with the readied action.
Yeah, Alvarez has done at least one thing.
Yeah, which gives...
He's sweating.
Yeah.
He's sweating so much.
I guess, technically, if Craig Peter, if either of you wanted to activate characters, you do have the opportunity to do something here. There is also another player character. Cheesy, you got any ideas?
You want to use that raider you just stole? Cheesy?
Go cheesy.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, absolutely.
Go cheesy.
Okay. So let's see. Let me check one thing here because I'm just making sure that I have a firm sense of what exactly comes up. Remind me, the rugged design talent, that's going to allow, or that makes it easier for the ship to like restore breaches, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so for her part, let's see. I always forget the specific listings on that, and I thought that I'd had a reference folder specific for the breach, or like breaches here. Actually, the compendium would help with that. Breach.
I think we're putting up a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
I've
think
been
we are
three front heavy raiders.
Rounded and outnumbered. This is epic stuff.
Yep. So.
And I may be able to use repair team leader if we have 3 momentum and to get rid of one of those breaches.
Yep.
Yeah. Can
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Tactical ship at some point.
But Cheesy has Remora, right? And can
Yeah.
frickin'
Yep. Just as a minor action, I'm going to say that Steward restores sensors. It's like passive sensors back online. I've I've managed to restore the main sensor nodes from momentary disruption here, sir. Another raider's coming onto sensors now.
she just like she's more attentive. Certainly has been attentive to Paradigm, but she's definitely more alert from the damage and just kind of flicks her eyes over to Horn. I need a, it's just that quiet of I need a friendly, friendlier enemy.
I mean, it's a raider. Do we have any indication that it's other than unfriendly?
Cheesy, I'm going to ask actually, where do you want the raider to come in? Which vessel do you want it to come close by? I'll say that for the record, these 3 have acted. This one is like positioned behind an asteroid field, and it can still make an attack run on the Aegis this turn.
Oh, you know what? I don't like him just sitting back there. That's not cool.
All right. So looping from around the same asteroid as this one, as this other one is about to make its run, the raider pilots in. Remora, what would you like to do?
I look over to my lovely engineer friend. Set it to blow. And then we need to run.
All right. So, as it seems to be making a beeline towards you, but then starts says, "Wait, it's veering off." And with that, I think here I'll let you. I'll tell you what, Cheesy. This is technically like 2 tasks here, but I'll say that in exchange for either 2 momentum or perhaps more appropriately 2 threat, I will let you have Racco ready to blow the ship, but I am going to ask you for ramming speed.
Ramming speed?
Daring plus con with a difficulty of 2.
Would this count as ship weapons?
I mean, the ship counts as a weapon at this point.
You know, hilariously, you are basically a guided manned torpedo.
Captain, registering odd behavior on the radar.
Okay, no help from the raider for its brief remaining life, but yeah, that is going to be enough to where the raider suddenly veers off and seems to move behind another asteroid. As you see it tracking as you see the another raider coming out from behind one of the asteroids, and it on course, a small pod launches out from the raider immediately that had just shown up, and let's see, that will be 2 plus the inflicts 2 damage plus the scale of that, with the piercing 3, spread, and vicious 1 effects and the devastating quality. Okay, let's roll some challenge dice. So that would be 3 on the die. That effect means that it also has vicious 1. So that's 4 dice there. It will ignore 3 of the resistance, so it does all 4 of those. Let's see. Would you like? Oh wait, and the effect means spread separately from that, so that'd be a separate thing. I'll tell you what, guys. Do you want to either spend to re-roll those 2 zeros or to buy additional damage?
Let's re-roll the 2 zeros.
Okay.
2 challenge dice versus 1 challenge die.
Yeah, there's 1 momentum that comes in from
Yeah.
cheesy spin, so that's one thing.
That's fine with you guys.
Yes.
Okay,
that is more efficient.
That's an additional effect, so that is 2 more points of stress for a total of 6. So that's at least enough to cause a breach on the other raider. It will collide with it, shearing along the wing and causing some ruptures. Then, can I take the 2 threat, or do you want to spend momentum to buy Racco's little bomb maneuver?
Take 2 threat.
Okay.
Make it spicy.
Yeah. So, as the raider just shears along, the other one is going to breach its warp core. So that would be
I want to spend 2 momentum to do a swift action and try to force or I will use my command to quickly not panic, but stress direct Romanov to bring the freaking hole back up.
Okay. In order to do that, I have to spend. So, what I'm actually using is what I set up, which is I had my repair teams out there. So I'm having my repair.
Just the hole plating, not
Yeah,
anything
well,
else.
it's that's it. But hold on though, I have to spend 3 momentum to repair 1 breach. Do we have 3 momentum?
Do you have to repair the breaches, or can you just put the whole plane back together?
well, the breaches, like to restore hull plating. All that he needs to do right now is like that's just another task basically.
Oh, okay.
So
So
that
just make.
yeah, basically it would be another control plus engineering roll. This time it is difficulty 4 because this is. I have to double check. I think that this is another swift task, which I think that you can buy technically.
Yes, with 2 momentum.
Yep. So
down to 1.
So
Okay, so if I succeed at this task, I can spend 3 momentum to also repair 1 other breach.
If you get 3 momentum, we're down to 1 momentum.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's. And I need to absolutely succeed at this, so I'm going to activate a value. Let's see. I'm going to activate every problem has a solution, including bad breaches. I'm prepared. So I'd like to activate that value. And then do you want me to spend 1 momentum on the roll, guys? Or do you
Sure.
want me? Okay. So I'm
Let's
rolling.
try to build up some momentum here.
Unfortunately, I don't believe electroplasma systems apply, right?
I mean, you're trying to power back up.
If you'll,
Yeah, electroplasma systems, as I did earlier, I will allow them to apply.
oh, you're a great GM. I love
Yeah,
you.
I will
Okay.
have to note, because the structure at this point has sustained 2 breaches, it is now technically damaged. There are fires and minor hull breaches elsewhere on the ship, and it increases the complicate. Oh wait, no. So it's just complication to repair systems right now. So the hull plating task is not affected, but the resistance of the ship has been reduced by 1 because.
Okay.
Yeah.
And our complication range is 2 on this one, right?
No, I haven't spent any threat to increase that. So you are
Okay.
still good there.
Okay, so I'm set complication 1. I'm rolling 3 task dice. I'm doing control and engineering with electroplasma. And
Yes.
pretty spent for every solution has a problem. So I'm rolling with 2 successes as we do this.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's see, did that go through? No,
Would I roll for the Aegis?
You would roll for the Aegis as a matter of fact, I think technically the Aegis is the only thing you could roll for because the direct is a once per scene task.
Oh, is it once per scene? Okay, my
That's
bad.
That's at least what the compendium says.
All right. No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so what I roll for the Aegis then? That's a shame. That's a 2.
The Aegis would roll a pity.
Actually, it's an natural 1, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Structure plus engineering.
But I mean, it was a natural 1, anyways, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So it'd still be 2.
Okay, and I got 4 successes.
Plus the auto crit.
Plus the auto crit, so that's 6.
All right, then. Let's see. I guess just to simplify things, since you got the 2 there, Panda, I will be exceptionally generous and just say that counts as the ship roll, or urgent circumstances apply, but no ship roll this time. So with a quick routing of power as the warp core on the other raider goes up, and the escape pod rockets away to its own cover, the raider will explode. That is going to inflict 3 damage with the piercing 1 effect on the raider. Or well, it automatically pierces the 3 damage, I think. Let me double check the warp core just to be sure what it says here. So I had the breach. I might still technically need to roll. Let's see here. Okay, no, that's all hands abandoned ship. Inflicting 3 damage, 3 challenge dice with piercing 2 damage. All right, so very quickly, I'm going to say that you manage to effectively, you automatically restore 2 points of the hull plating back to the ship. Just to be clear, as the captain gives you that hurried order, you pull power from whatever auxiliary and emergency systems you can. You do have the opportunity, since you scored a total of 8 successes with your 4, the auto crit, and the 2 that technically came from the captain. Yeah, but
came from the ship. It's a natural 1, so it wouldn't matter if I rolled for the ship or not. It'd just
Yep.
be a...
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you can shunt up to 4 points of that momentum back into hull plating.
Let's put 2, maybe.
That's what I'd like to do. Then Or I don't know how this works. Repair team leader. I spend 3 momentum and I repair 1 breach. Would that be a better application, or which way should I go?
Well, given
Which way?
that Nausicaan reactor is about to blow and cause all the nearby ships some damage, is let's see.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just dump it all into shielding. Yeah, forgot.
Is that
That's
that's
about
what
the
you
flood.
Right.
Yeah, just dump it all in
Listen,
shielding.
Okay, so I think that with those extra 2 points of stress, that running it against the earlier rolls, yeah, that's going to be enough to badly stress the other vessels. So that'll let's see, that was 6, and so it's going to knock it a bit beside the asteroid. They are going to lose their next turn effectively, and while your escape pod is not hit by the brunt of the blast, you may be Remora, you and your small crew there dart around the asteroid and manage to just get shaken up a little bit. Every other ship here is in close range here, so they are going to suffer basically whatever 2 points of challenge dice can do. Some of them are shielded by the asteroids, others not so much. The Aegis and the Raider that was most devastating. So let's see that will do. Okay, no, so that challenge die rating just applies to every ship nearby. So the blast wave will hit the Aegis with all the power routed back to your hull plating. That gave you about 6 points. You are going to lose 2 as the uncontained antimatter blast rocks the ship and causes the hull plating to flare up a moment. The Raider over here is going to also take some of that and going to get knocked a bit, though its shields still hold. Everybody else was pretty much behind cover, so they're not going to take that. But yes, with that Remora, you can dart the escape pod back closer to the Earth vessel. And I think with that, the round actually ends because none of the Nausicaan ships are able to act, and yeah, we're basically at the top of the turn order now.
Yeah.
So, Captain, Horn, the two of and Romanov, you're looking around as like people are working on systems. The Aegis has taken a bit of a beating. Hull plating is not even to half polarization, and though the Nausicaans are a bit bruised, there's still more on there's still plenty able to fight on the table.
How badly beaten are the rest of the ships? One is knocked out for a turn. Another one is badly scarred. And then the leadership is still relatively fine, right?
Also, they're pirates. Like, what's their breaking point like?
2 vessels have sustained moderate damage, and they might not be so able to immediately counterattack. One of them, still visible to us, is in a good combat position. The third, that suffered the attack from the warp core, has also suffered some damage to their shields. They're still they haven't been able to come out from their cover at present. My scanners, the passive scanners, are picking up signs of 2 additional raiders on an intercept course. They'll be in range in approximately 3 minutes.
Hail the lead vessel.
Opening a channel, sir. Sir, channel's being routed back to the command site, wherever that is. I think that we're getting the leader once again. And let's move things back to the bridge here.
Yeah.
and on the screen ahead of you, appearing in the like slightly regal setup, his armor still, armor spiked and one eye trained on you, is the self-styled pirate lord Famous.
At the current moment, half your fleet is more or less under my thumb. I can destroy more resources than it's worth to attack me. Allow me to grab my crew, and I will leave what wreckage I have managed so far, so you can salvage what you can. You have shown your prowess, you have shown your strength. I respect it, but I will not tolerate any further acts. And if you do so, I will make sure that you will be remembered as the fool of a Nausicaan that you are. Know your place. And I'm going to use Nausicaan tactics of basically being all like, all right, you proved your worth. I'm still the lead. Move aside. You showed your chutzpah. You don't need to anymore.
Do you just want to try and narrative this out, or are you going for a roll here?
I'm trying to narrow this out. I'm trying to basically like either allow him to save face, or I will wreck his shit.
All right. Well, as Famous narrows his eye and leans forward. I think not, Captain. As I see it, you have not just done me an insult here, not simply by your the words you Earthers are so fond of, but you insult my intelligence as well. The trespassers on that small craft of yours have murdered several of my men. They have brought the demand for justice, and you come offering no tribute, no compensation of any sort. And you come in with your ship claiming that you...
She kind of just basically kind of starts ignoring him a little bit. Looks over to Crichton. Can you bring it focus to my face, please?
I'll zoom in here.
And she'll just lean forward, and I'll say with squinted eyes, and I'll say in Orion, you have already disgraced yourself by attacking a member, a consort of the royal family. Do you really want to insult yourself further? She says quietly.
At the mention of this, he looks slightly more animated and interested.
Yeah, she just pulls. She will unzip her uniform a little bit and pull off a shoulder to show the Orion Syndicate tattoo a slight and glare.
So
very firm look.
Yep.
Cold, dispassionate.
Yep. As this plays out, his rant will have continued. As he says, from where I see, only half the vessels you've noticed are damaged. I have many more to bring to bear, and against your vessel that is beaten and pounded and... Oh. Well, this will be interesting. If you want them back, then perhaps Queen Jalozna can be the judge of what appropriate compensation is.
Do you really think that you're really worth for mere her court? She says. We accepted you because you have proved profitable. But I think there are many of your own subordinates, she says, side gesturing for Crichton to start saying this to every other ship. That any other subordinates would find this not quite as ambitious as you think it might be, she says.
He leans back, his chest out, his mouth drawing up into a cruel smile. I think that I am content to settle it the way we have. and to bring your ship in, to take it to take the to take its crew hostage, and to let your Earth come and barter for it. But if the Queen should have some input, if you are so valued a member, then presenting you relatively unharmed will earn me quite a bit of grace.
Since he's an idiot, an ambitious idiot, I basically am trying to incite the rest of his crew to basically be very more contentious and intimidated, if I can.
Trying to subvert.
Is this hold still in Orion? Like the last couple exchanges?
I probably would have switched back to English after saying the initial threat.
No. So, yeah,
Okay.
Horn, you can tell at this point there's invocation of what Commander Mitchell's briefing has told you would be figures involving the parent of your present captive / intelligence asset. So
Yeah.
there might be like a Nausicaan or two looking between the screen and themselves, like visible on the channel. But as Famous takes note of that, with an additional threat, he's going to rise from it and say, My rule here is absolute, and you should have known, Captain, that when my presence was announced, it would not be this simple. I am not to be trifled with, and nor is my hold here. If you have any desire to see your crew alive or to survive this yourself, if you wish to do so in peace, then you will withdraw, and you will present tribute accordingly. If it is battle that you wish for, if you feel that you must go and fight to save your crew, then we shall continue to settle it this way, and I shall not be responsible when your ship is a broken, battered hulk.
Oh, Pirate King. A sad little man in the middle of a rock. You will be forgotten just as any other threat to the family has been. I don't remember your name anymore, and nor will anybody else. You have 5 minutes. You have 60 seconds for anyone to stand down and move aside, or you will be forgotten, much like every other threat. And she'll just cut off the link.
Yep.
Can I roll for intimidation or something like diplomacy?
Well, it's
And
definitely
gambling?
it's definitely not diplomacy there, but you can attempt to intimidate them.
Can I support this by sending on like an open frequency all of the wreckages that we are seeing right now? Like the two ships crashed into each other, the ones we've barraged. Just like alongside the threat, the images of just half-destroyed raiders for no profit.
I will allow for that. Go ahead and give me the. Go ahead and give me a. I'll call this. Oh, let's see. I guess presence plus.
Command?
Yeah,
Daring command. Come on, let's be honest. This is daring.
that's fair.
I'll do gambling.
Yep.
Or linguistics. Or give me any of those things. Strategy. I can get momentum by giving you a threat, right? A single threat for a single momentum.
You can basically give me threat to treat it the same way as momentum.
Okay. Yeah, it's just 1-to-1, or is it 1-to-2?
It's one. It's a 1-to-1 measure. So.
Okay.
You know, you'd
I'll
pay
give
the
you a
same as-
single threat to get a third die, so I can get cautious here. And here we go.
You have you definitely with that spend or like with that die at 4
Damn it, heck.
successes, yeah, you're giving some of the Nausicans pause here. Look as they look through and can't help but wonder what the like how this outcome would be emerged. And undoubtedly there's a few minutes, we'll give it about 45 seconds of that allotment to where nothing seems to happen, or like the ships you detect seem to slow down. There's not an immediate effort. It's enough time for the escape pod to close the distance.
Yeah, and I will say to the helm, once the escape pod's on, keep moving forward. Slow, steady. Do not hesitate.
And with that, as the escape pod is beginning to board, I'm spending 2 threat and the... Let's see. First and foremost, I'm going to grant you 1 momentum for your success there. So sure, you may roll 1. You may gain 1 there. I had 1 threat for a moment. I gained 2 from what you gave me, and now I'm spending that subsequently as Steward detects something very highly powered. Sir, there's a communication signal being bounced off the radioactive anomaly.
Jam it.
I'm trying, sir, right now. It's too... it's more than I can manage here, sir. Especially with all the power we've shunted around the hull plating.
Well,
an open audio frequency has come up.
She just... different character. Sharp just kind of just leans back and sighs. Well, she'll know now.
This is the pirate lord, Famous. I invoke I reach out to all who acknowledge fealty to our alliance, and particularly to the court of Queen Zeloshna. I invoke the right of the negotiation of hostage exchange and of trade as established by our long accord. One lord to another ennobled in our cause. I invite them I call that hostilities be ceased, and that all actions remain as they were until such a negotiation can occur. So in effect now, Captain, what you know of this rite, and Famous would probably say as such in the formal proclamation, but as an advantage, he is invoking an old Orion custom between those that recognize each other or where there's an where there's fealty, effectively freezing the situation where it is, to where if you take any underhanded action to rescue your or try to rescue the crew now, it would be considered an open violation, and one that obligates both not simply the party that called the rite, in this case Famous's forces, but it would obligate the other party to execute the traitors, as it were. So by proclaiming yourself as part of the Orion Queen's court, you've now basically given him license to call them as allies. And I think that is where we are going to end today's session.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
Yep, so, yeah. For those of you in the archive, I hope you enjoyed this skirmish in the asteroid belt here. This was, I know it is maybe just a, it was not the cleanest run for combat, I will definitely say, and that is largely.
No, it was so
my
fun
opinion.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
it was a lot, but it was great fun, and I hope that you enjoyed this little skirmish. We will be back next week with more Star Trek adventures, so I hope that you come back and enjoy this. Until then, we will see you later on, and yeah, if you want to join us live, we air these 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/GM and the Great Barrier. For those in the for those that are also interested in trying out Broken Sword, where Remora, aka Cheesy, is the character Traven Lex, you can join us Tuesdays at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we will catch you later, everybody.